Flosstube, it's Lori and welcome to Once Upon a Stitch. Thank you so much for visiting with me. I hope you have a wonderful time. I know I'm enjoying all your comments. To those who have made comments, it was the nicest things you have said to me. It touched my heart, and I hope I can bring some joy into your life by making my videos and sharing my stitching and life stories with you. First, I'd like to just give you a brief update. The last time we got together, I had poison ivy, and it has gone, but after 2 rounds of a steroid that helped me. Very little scarring left, but much better. As a matter of fact, I don't have it at all. So yesterday I went in the garden. I call it a garden, it's my backyard. And we have a rose bush there, and I was reaching in the back of it to get some kind of, we have these wire, like a fence, but they're short, maybe like that, 18 inches. And I wanted to get it to prop up the 2 tomato plants that we have growing in pots. And so I went to get it, and I had to yank it, and I yanked it right into a thorn. Okay, I don't think gardening's for me. So anyway, but my sunflowers came out, and I was so excited. They're like at least 8 feet tall. I put a picture on Instagram, and the only thing is, I don't know too much about growing them other than how beautiful they are, but they kind of like, here's the sunflower, and it kind of goes like this at times. But I see that there's other flowers coming out, which I didn't know. I thought just one sunflower grew out of the whole stem. So I'm learning as I go with that. They're really beautiful, and I love them. I'm looking to the side occasionally because I have my notes, and I don't want to forget anything. So the last time we met, I told you that I was going to be going to Needleworkers Delight to have a brief reunion with some of the people that came to New Jersey retreat, and they went to Needleworkers Delight during the retreat. So we met there, and they remodeled a little bit, and they had this humongous table in the back that we sat at. There were 10 of us. There was Helen Cook came, a lovely woman, and then there was Dee Abrams. She's the one that actually kind of put this together. She sent people invites of who she remembered lived locally. And she came with her friend Judy Moy. They came from Long Island, and thank you, Dee, for putting this together. Actually, I think Dee should do Flosstube, because what a personality this woman has. Always upbeat. She was just wonderful. Then Barbara Nelson was there. She had made each of us from the retreat a scissor fob. That was close to 80 scissor fobs that she made. And her daughter was with her, Kim. She was working on pumpkins for sale, which is going to be in one of my starts in September. And she gave me a few tips of the kind of color of the pumpkins that were the floss was called for. It was more of like a pinkishy color, I think she said. So so I pulled mine out again and redid some of the floss colors. So that was really helpful to me. And then Megan Laster was there. She came with her mom, Regina. Megan does Flosstube, and she goes just by her name, so I will link her name down at the bottom when I complete this video. And her mom, Regina, was there, and Regina gifted every one of us who was there with thread drops and a key ring, which was awfully nice of her. And Dee brought a cake because Arlene Cohen was there as well from Works by ABC, and we kind of celebrated Arlene, her being in Just Cross Stitch magazine. I think one of the very first projects was Arlene's, and she had received an award at another, I don't remember the name of the organization. So Dee brought a pie, a chocolate pie to celebrate that. And also Kathy from To Die House was there, and let me just go through. I think that's everybody. Yes, and we were 10, and Kevin and Jimmy, the owners of the shop, provided lunch for us, and we had a really good time. We enabled each other, and actually we're meeting up again on September 8th. It's a Saturday, and we, some of us, not all of us, said we wanted to try needle punch. So who's ever interested in trying, we're going to bring our own pattern and fabric and supplies that we need, and we're going to try and do it all together. We're going to start something. I don't know how far we'll get, but we're going to give it a shot and see how we like it, and if it's as easy as they say it is. I had a hard time finding weaver's cloth. I went to Joann's and they had a green weaver's cloth, but I'll show you that with my haul. And another thing that I wanted to talk about was Keph from Snug Harbor Crafts, Debbie and Keph. She always gives you a makeup tip, and the makeup tip she gave was this Give Me Brow, it's called, and it's for your eyebrows. And so I went to Ulta and I purchased it, and Give Me Brow it's called, and it's a little brush like that. It almost looks like a mascara brush, but it's thinner. And when I first tried it on at the store, I'm like, so the woman who was working with somebody else said to me, first do it against your brow and then go back with it. And basically what it does is it fills in where you're missing. And I guess as we get older now, or as I get older, there's spots that I don't know if you can see, but I used it and it kind of like fills it in. That's all. It makes it a little bit more prominent, and I like it. I really do. So thank you, Keph. Another thing that I got from a Flosstuber was from Jessie Marie Does Stuff. Jessie Marie, congrats on 5 years of Flosstube. That is awesome. I've learned so much from watching your Flosstubes. I've learned how to pin it in the foam core board, how to stitch it in the back. I learned a lot from her. And another thing that she showed on about 3 videos ago, was her husband put together a stand for her out of PVC pipe. And hers has another pipe here in the back, but I found that this was good enough for me, and these two shapes is where my frame would rest. And I find that, and I have different sizes for this to make it wider for a longer frame or a little bit narrower, but I find it works better with the larger frame, because the smaller frame, the pipe, you have to allow for your arms to get one behind, one in the front, and if you're working other than the center of it, it kind of like drops. So I find it much easier working on a larger frame, and I think Jessie Marie does most of her stitching on large frames, so it works really well for her. But I appreciate her giving us all the dimensions of the pipes and how to put it together, and my husband did that for me, and I was stoked. So thank you again, Jessie Marie. Then the other thing is, I wanted to ask, if anybody has traveled on a plane and done cross stitching, was it difficult to get your needles through security? Because I was talking with Kevin over at Needleworkers. He ordered me a scissor that says right on it, TSA approved, but they haven't come in yet. So I'm hoping in the next 2 to 3 weeks they come in. So so I'm waiting for that. But I asked him about needles, and I've heard people have stitched on the plane, and I'm hoping that it's not going to be, they're not going to take them from me, because I think that's one of the things that will calm me down in the fact that I have to travel on a plane. So if you had stitched on a plane, have you had any issues with bringing the needle in, number one? And then the other thing was, I was thinking of putting a needle like in my change section of my wallet, but I don't know if that's like, if they find it, will they think I'm putting them in all different places? I don't know. And then I don't know exactly what pieces to work on a plane. So if you can give me an idea of, I'm thinking medium-sized pieces would be fine, because I'd be just like in front of myself. I ordered a clip-on battery and plug-in light to bring with me, and I'll bring a tension hoop and a small Q-snap, and I think I should be okay in my little section of, and I'll bring something maybe that doesn't have too many floss changes. I'll probably pack something else in my suitcase. I don't know how much stitching I'll get on the on vacation, but we are meeting up with my husband's cousins who live in Australia, and last time we met up in Hawaii 2 years ago, and this time we're meeting up in Venice, and we're cruising down to Croatia and then some of the Greek islands, and then we'll make one stop in Italy, a port in Italy, before returning back to Venice. And then my husband and I will spend 2 days before and after the cruise in Venice, and see how much sightseeing we get done. So like I said, I don't know how much stitching I'm going to get done. I'm going to bring some with me, and hope for the best. Maybe before going to bed at night, sometimes, you know, if you're too anxious and you can't sleep, maybe that'll, but usually that keeps me awake, but we'll see. We'll work it out. Alrighty. Well, I have, if you can tell, bells and vodka. You're saying, why? Steph and Pam ring bells when they have finishes, and McKenna finishes the vodka. So there's a tad left. Let's see, let's get it in there. See it? Now I'm not going to drink it on camera, but I have it. Okay, here are my finishes. The first one is a little one. It's a Lizzie Kate Flip It November, and this was one of the last patterns I had to buy because I had a hard time finding it, but I finally found it, and this is, technically it would have been the 12 months all done, but what happened is I can't find my December pillow. I know I did it. I stitched it twice, once for myself and once for my daughter-in-law. So I don't know if it accidentally fell in the garbage pail in the room and I didn't see it fall. I don't know if I packed it away somewhere. I tried looking around, couldn't find it. So I did restitch it, but I didn't totally finish it yet. This is the December one. Let's see. It was Coffee Tea Dyed by me. And this is the backing that I'm going to use. Maybe that shows a little bit better, the white. So I have to finish that pillow. Then from the Prairie Schooler St. Nicholas, I did the one with the cane. And I finished it as a cube. This time I found this ribbon, I guess, and it was in the ribbon section, and it almost looks somewhat metallic-y. It looks like there's wire and then the ribbon runs through it. So I tacked it underneath the ribbon that I finished it with, and I put it at the top as well. Oops. And then I finished it with the knotted bow. That's that one. Then, ta-da! Flowers from 1650, Works by ABC. Maybe you can see the finished product better this way. Yes, I was waiting to do the border. I had finished the inside a while ago, and then, I don't know, borders and me, but I managed to finish it, and it looks beautiful, if I must say so myself. What happened was, if I got the regular size mat for this, for the 8x10 frame, it would have been too tight on the sides here. And and we tried cutting a mat for the cherub with the bird, but it just didn't come straight. So I finally said, either I have to pay somebody to cut mats, which they said it was $8 for an 8x8, and this might be about the same. So after so many mats, you pay for the frame, and so what I did was I bought a mat cutter. I bought a Logan mat cutter, and the blade. It's just a small version, but for the pieces that I do, I think it'll be fine. This is the mat cutter, and what's nice about it, it has the groove so that the blade doesn't get too dull, because I've been cutting mat boards on my cutting table that has a self-healing mat, but it gouges it. So I'm happy I invested in that. And then I explained how I was going to frame this the last time, but this time it's done. So we used the mat cutter to do that mat, and I put the spacers in, which you can't see because they're painted black as well. And it's a table stand. And this will be gifted to my cousin when I see her in Italy. So she doesn't watch, she doesn't know I do YouTube, so she won't see it before I give it to her. And then finally, a big finish. The Sampler Company, Plymouth Sampler. This is the pattern. Oops, here it goes. And with a frame from the thrift store. It's done. So happy about this. Love the way it came out. I didn't hang it yet because I wanted to show you all. But yeah, love that pattern. I didn't realize how much full coverage stitching a lot of areas are, but I put my initials, and instead of just putting first initial and last, I put my middle initial. So in the year 1620, the Pilgrims left Plymouth Rock. I guess Plymouth. They left England to come on over. Alrighty, now my haul. I think that was, oh no, my whips. Sorry. That's why I write things down so I don't forget. I only have 3 whips remaining, and that's why I have this feeling that I want to start stitching a lot of new things. I know people say, oh, I pulled this from my stash, and I don't have too much. So now, okay, let me get to no, I didn't finish that. That's the next thing I'm going to do when I pick this up. This is Farmhouse Christmas, and I got the first 4 in, but now this is going to be put aside until after my stitch-itis starts. But when I do pick it up, the next one will be the quilt. Okay, put this in the drawer and get it out of the way. The next one, I'll be working on this most likely until August 31st, which is tomorrow. So I'll work on it today and tomorrow. It is from the Primitive Hair Red Riding Hood. I have a light on right here, so it's probably giving you a little bit more. There you go. And this is how far I got on her. I filled in her skirt. I think the last time you saw it, I filled in her skirt, and I started up here in the trees, right here. But when I started going down, and then I realized that I had started incorrectly the last time I picked this up, so I had to frog that and then restart it. So I went down that side, did her skirt, and then went down this side from here down, and I started red. And I don't think I will finish this in 2 nights, but in the next 2 nights, that's what I will be working on. Up here. And then the last whip that I have is from Plum Street Samplers Heritage Sampler. And that's that one. And this is how far, I thought this was going to be a lot longer, but pleasantly surprised it's not. That's the bottom of it right there. Let's see here, where that urn is. And I finished the house and have a few motifs to put in this side. And then I'll go into doing Abraham Lincoln and his wife, and then the motifs down the side. So this will be put aside because of my stitchitis that I have. And I spoke about that in my last video of what that is, and basically it's starting a new start every other day. So I'll work on something for 2 days and then go to something new. and then I'll have like, well, this is till I go on vacation because I don't have the whole month. So I'll probably do a video around the 17th of September and let you know how I'm coming along with that. And then I don't know if I'll be able to videotape before vacation. I will try, and I'll let you know where I got on that. And then when I come back from vacation, I have, it'll probably be a little bit of a time so that I have something to show you that I've gotten accomplished, and then move forward from there. And as I finish the projects that I start in this startitis, I'll add one, because I want to have a lot of whips. I just do. It's more fun to choose from, and then I could do an arbitrary wheel instead of saying, okay, I have 4 things, 3 days, 4 days, 4 days, 4 days. So that's the plan. All right, haul. The last time I couldn't remember the name of fabrics that I had purchased from 123 Stitch that I usually really enjoy working on color-wise. And the other one I couldn't remember was Legacy. So this is Legacy and this is Ren. They're very similar, but one is more of a grayish tinge and this one is more of a brownish with some modeling. They both have modeling, and I really do love these two as far as the modeling goes. Today I went to Needleworker's Delight because in 2 days is September 1st, and September 1st is the start of a sale, Home for the Holiday sale, and I think it's Blackbird Designs, and it is this pattern. Let's see where the I keep this. The pattern, the picture is actually where the pattern is, so it's something like that. But this is the first sale that I'm starting, and the book just came in, so I scrambled. He didn't have much in Belsois. I basically wanted the bird color in that, but I found Licorice Red was really a nice choice, and then I just picked colors that I thought would go nicely with it. So that's my color palette, and basically they're Classic Colorworks and some Gast. So I'm not good at this, but yeah. So the first 2 days of my startitis will be on this project, and I will only work on it for 2 days. But depending on how far I get, maybe that'll be one of the things I'll bring with me on vacation. Alrighty. Another thing I picked up today was this. I've seen a number of people working on this, and it's from Shakespeare's Peddler, Antique Locks and Keys. And this means a lot to me because when we were in Italy in 2011, we went to a town not far from where my parents grew up, where they had a devastating earthquake. The town was called L'Aquila. It's north of Rome, about an hour and a half. And we went to the town, and there was devastation all over. I mean, it was desolate. You can walk the streets, most of the streets, but from what I remembered of the bustling town that it was, where it had beautiful porticos and shops and farmers markets out, it was nothing. It was dead. There were a few people that were in the town. There was a coffee shop, but other than that, there wasn't much else. But I remember in front of the buildings that were compromised of the foundation, they had gates that you couldn't get past them. And what people did was they hung their keys to the house on these gates, and there was a slew of keys on these gates of people that basically just gave up because they couldn't get people to fix it. And I don't know how many years ago that I went that it had been like that. So this is that's what this means to me. It's a remembrance of those people that lost everything in the earthquake, and basically had to just give up their house and walk away from it, and they left the key. So that was that. I had spoken to Kevin about getting some perforated paper. Let's see, the color was about that. the further back it comes out a little bit better because there's plastic on it. So the paper came in. This is a pattern that I bought that is needle punched. It's a Little House Needleworks Country Pumpkins, and I thought that would be good as a first project. So I went to Joann's looking for weaver's cloth. They didn't have beige or white, they had green. So I bought it because needle punch you usually cover everything, but I don't know how it's going to work. So when I was at Hobby Lobby, I called first to see if they had, and they did have something. So it says needle punch cloth, and it's funny, when I look at it, it looks like a 28 count piece of fabric. That's what it looks like to me. I don't know how it's going to work out, but I'm going to draw the pattern on both these pieces, the green one and this, and bring it with me on September 8th when we get together and see how that works. Oh, which reminds me, Kim from Crafty Kim, when I showed my projects that I was working on for September, she said she had the Mani di Donna pattern of the 4 seasons and that she would do it with me. So Kim, I'm going to be working on that September 7th and 8th. So I'll post pictures on Instagram and I'll tag you on it, and if you get a chance to work on it those days, tag me back. Alrighty. Okay, another purchase was Christmas at Holly Berry Farm. I saw Carol the Saltbox Stitcher stitch Summer at Holly Berry Farm, and I think she showed this one. I really liked Summer, and I guess when I got to the store I ordered Christmas. I don't know, I mean, it's nice too, but I really liked Summer, so eventually I'm going to order Summer, probably after I get some of these whips done, so that I can say that I'm making progress before I buy more. I keep saying I'm not going to buy more, but I just keep buying more. I bought Winter ABCs. I think I'm going to try dyeing the fabric gray, and I'm going to go a little bit grayer than what they did it on, and so that the snow pops. I'll see how that goes. And then I picked up 28 count Lugana in light taupe, and that's what I'm doing my Red Riding Hood on. And the reason I bought that one is because I got Snow White. I thought these would look really nice together. My son was over with his wife for dinner one night, and with Ozzy, the dog, and I showed him what I was working on, and I showed him Red Riding Hood, and he goes, "What are you going to do with that?" I was like, "I don't know. Why?" I said, "You want it?" So he goes, "Yeah." I was like, "It's yours." I was so thrilled that he actually liked it and would want it. So once I finish that, I think I'm going to go over to what's the name of that place, Real Antique Wood, and see about getting a frame, because if you look at the pattern, it's like a barn wood frame. So I want to see if I can get something to match that. Anyway, those are the plans. Then in October, if you can help me out with this as well, I heard October there's going to be a Hawk Run Hollow sale, and I thought it was going to start October 15th. Somebody spoke and said it might be October 1st. That would be a problem for me because I won't be home, and I do not want to bring this with me because it's a really big project. Of the Hawk Run Hollow, I chose a year at Hawk Run Hollow because I saw Amy from Amy Loves Toads, and I think it was Tamra Bowden. She was working on this as well, and I just loved it. And I like the idea that it was all the months together, and once it's done, it could be hung, and it could be hung all year long. So I chose this one, and I got a piece of 28 count Lugana, and I needed a piece that was 26 by 36. This is a yard of fabric. This thing is going to be huge, and and bigger than me, but it's light ash gray. So that's the plan. So if Hawk Run Hollow Sal starts October 1st, I will do it as soon as I come home. If it starts the 15th, I'll wait till the 15th to start it with everybody else. Another thing that I purchased was the alphabet sampler by Works by ABC. And look, I got it autographed. Let's see, Arlene Cohen. I just thought, what a great idea, putting the alphabet together. Different letters in different scripts, and I don't know if you can, let's see, oops. I just love it. Yeah, love it. I also picked up some other fabric. I got a 28 count mushroom Lugana from Swigert. Yeah, that's better further away. And then this I purchased for my holiday Quaker, which now will eventually be put in the rotation, but not until I finish something else, because I don't want to have too many large projects. This will not get done for Christmas, but it's pretty. And I had a piece of fabric dyed for me. He didn't put the name of it, so I really can't tell you a name. Oops, it's a gray. I don't know if you can see gray in it modeled, but I love it. So you know, these pieces are going to be larger than they have to be, because I can only work as small as 28 count, and I really don't want to do it on a 16 or 18 count Aida. So I'm doing the best that I can. And now that I have some frames that I collected for from the thrift store, some of them are large, and I always wondered what was I going to do with them, but you know, how do you pass up a good teal? So anyway, that's my haul. Oh, and I forgot to show you these 3 balls of yarn floss that I'll be bringing for needle punch, and then I'll bring DMC. I just happen to have these, and those were some of the, seemed like some of the colors, so I'll use those and then pick up some just DMC. I have the whole line of them, so I'll look at the chart and see what's closest in color and decide to do it that way. So I just want, okay, I'm a licker. You saw me lick my finger to turn the page. Deb from Country Stitchers, she's a licker, and she's been getting a lot of feedback of people who lick their floss. And Liz is not a licker. She uses everything else to thread her needle. I'm not only a licker, I have pins in my mouth, needles in my mouth. That's why I don't really use a needle minder. I have one magnet that was really a magnet that I use as a needle minder, and I think I've found a second one. Usually they were just gifted to me for my refrigerator, but they happen to be metal and they attracted the needles, so I use them. Plus I have the one that they gave me at New Jersey retreat. And basically I keep them on the table that's next to me when I stitch to hold a bunch of needles. Sometimes I'll put the needle minder on my fabric if I'm holding the chart, but most of the time after I undo that last stitch, the needle goes in my mouth, cut the thread, get more thread, lick it, thread the needle. I'm a licker. Just like the Dr. Pepper song. You have to watch their video to get that. Okay. Let's see, did I finish forget anything? No, I think that's it. I told Kim what day I was working on Mani di Donna, and that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you subscribe. I hope you come back. I enjoy this as much, hopefully, as you do. That's it. Until next time. I'll catch up with you with Stitchitis in the middle of the month in September. Have a great Labor Day for all you people that work. I wish you rest and stress-free day, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And until sometime mid-September, I will wish you a happy stitching. Take care. Be nice.